You felt it. Maybe you haven't named it, but you felt it. The moment at the register when the total is higher than you expected and nothing changed. Same cart, same items, same routine. Or the moment you check your bank account at the end of the month and the numbers just don't add up the way they used to. You didn't spend more. You didn't change your habits. You didn't make any dramatic mistakes. But somehow, there's less. That feeling has a name, and it is not bad luck. It is not poor planning. It is not you. It is a tax, a hidden tax, one that no politician will campaign on, one that no financial institution will put in their brochure, one that no one in your life probably ever explained. Because explaining it would cost the people who benefit from it far too much money. And it is costing the average American household over $700 every single month, $8,400 a year. Gone. Without a single bill in the mail, without a single line on your pay stub, without your permission, your vote, or your awareness. Hi, my name is Sage, and this is Financial Methods, where we have the money conversations nobody else is having every single week for you. Today we are pulling back the curtain on 5 hidden taxes quietly draining your wealth every single day. Each one operating in plain sight. Each one designed to look like something other than what it actually is. This is a conversation about a system, deliberately complex, deliberately confusing, that profits enormously every time you don't fully understand how money works. And I am done watching it happen in silence. Whether you are just beginning to pay attention to your finances, or you have been working hard for years and cannot figure out why it never seems like enough, this one is for you. At Financial Methods, we are not here to tell you what you want to hear. We are here to tell you what you need to know. Let's get into it. Let's start with the most talked about and least understood hidden tax of them all. Inflation. Stay with me, because this is not an economics lecture. This is a conversation about money being quietly removed from your pocket while the institutions responsible use language designed to make that removal sound neutral and inevitable. Here is what inflation actually is. Stripped of every academic layer, every dollar you hold loses purchasing power over time. That is it. That is the whole thing. The dollar in your wallet today will buy less next year, and less the year after. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the system is designed to produce a steady, reliable erosion of the value stored in the money you hold. At a 3.5% average inflation rate, modest by recent standards, the purchasing power of $10,000 sitting in a regular savings account earning 0.01% interest falls to roughly $7,000 in real value over 10 years. You didn't spend it. You didn't lose it to a bad investment. You saved it responsibly, exactly the way you were told to, and the system quietly taxed you $3,000 for doing so. No notice, no bill, no vote. The institutions managing this process don't call it a tax. They call it monetary policy. They use language designed to make it sound like a neutral force that affects everyone equally. But here is what they do not advertise. Who benefits from inflation? Borrowers with fixed debt, governments carrying massive national debt, banks holding assets that rise in nominal value as the dollar weakens. And who pays? Anyone holding cash, anyone in a low-yield savings account, anyone told that saving was responsible, without being told that saving in the wrong place is a guaranteed slow-motion loss. That is not a coincidence. That is a system. The antidote to inflation is not earning more. It is making sure every dollar you save grows faster than inflation shrinks it. A high yield savings account returning 4 to 5% beats inflation. A basic index fund historically returns 7 to 10% annually. The money you are not putting to work is being taxed silently every single day. That stops the moment you move it somewhere that actually grows. Meet Jerome. Jerome earns $65,000 a year. He pays his bills on time. He is not reckless with money. But Jerome carries $9,400 in credit card debt across 3 cards at an average interest rate of 22.7%. He makes the minimum payment every month, $280, never misses one. And every month, he feels like he is doing the responsible thing. Here is what Jerome doesn't know. At minimum payments, it will take Jerome 14 years to pay off that balance. And the total he will actually repay, including interest, is $26,700. He borrowed $9,400. He will repay $26,700. The difference, $17,300, is the hidden tax. Not a fee, not a fine, not a penalty. The engineered cost of a product designed to extract as much from Jerome as the law allows. The credit card industry is one of the most profitable industries in American history, specifically because of the gap between what people think they understand about interest and what is actually happening to their money. 22.7% is the current average credit card rate. It has climbed for 3 consecutive years. When the Federal Reserve raises rates, credit card companies raise theirs immediately. When the Fed lowers rates, credit card companies take considerably more time. Economists call this asymmetric rate adjustment. I call it a system engineered to extract maximum value from the people who can least afford it. Credit card companies must disclose their rates by law, but they are not required to show you on your monthly statement what you will actually pay at minimum payments. That calculation is buried where most people never look. That positioning is not accidental. Paying off a 22% credit card balance is mathematically equivalent to earning a guaranteed 22% return on that money. No stock, no fund, no investment consistently delivers that. Eliminating high interest debt is the single highest return financial move available to you right now. Every dollar toward that balance stops being taxed at 22% annually. That is not sacrifice. That is the best investment that dollar can make. Real quick, if what we just covered made something click that never clicked before, hit that like button right now. Share this with someone making minimum payments every month, wondering why the balance never moves. They deserve to understand what is actually happening, and you could be the one who shows them. Subscribe to Financial Methods if you haven't already. This is exactly the conversation we show up for every week. Let's keep going. Here's a question I want you to actually answer. How much did you pay in fees last year? Not interest, not taxes, not regular bills. Fees, ATM fees, account maintenance fees, overdraft fees, wire transfer fees, inactivity fees, late fees. If you are like most Americans, you genuinely do not know, not even approximately. And that is not an accident. The banking industry collected over $30 billion in overdraft fees alone in a single recent year. $30 billion. Taken primarily from people who by definition did not have the money, because an overdraft means the account was already empty. The people who could least afford the fee were charged the most. The average American pays between $300 and $700 per year in banking fees alone. Each charge is small enough to feel like a minor inconvenience rather than a structural extraction. $3.50 for the ATM, $12 monthly maintenance fee, $35 overdraft. None of those feel like a crisis individually. Together, over 12 months, they quietly remove hundreds of dollars that had no reason to leave your account. Financial institutions design their products around this psychology. Small enough to ignore, frequent enough to compound, buried deep enough that the full picture requires real effort to see. The banking industry calls it revenue optimization. I call it taxing people too busy surviving to notice what is being taken. And it goes beyond banking. The subscription economy now extracts an average of $219 per month from American consumers. Research shows people underestimate their subscription spending by 2.5 times. You think you are spending $80 a month. You are actually spending $219. The difference is auto renewal, forgotten free trials, and services you signed up for once while the company counted on you never canceling. That is a business model built entirely on your inertia. Once every 3 months, set aside 20 minutes. Pull your bank and credit card statements. Go line by line. Every recurring charge, name it. If you cannot name it immediately, cancel it that day. The average person finds between $40 and $120 per month in forgotten charges. That is up to $1,400 a year, withdrawn silently while you sleep. 20 minutes. Once a quarter. That is all it costs to take it back. Before hidden tax number 4, take 1 second. If this video is giving you language for something you have felt but never been able to explain, share it right now. The institutions profiting from your financial confusion are counting on this information staying hard to find. Hit like, share this video, subscribe to Financial Methods. We are building a community of people done being financially stuck. Your seat is open. Let's get into number 4. This is the hidden tax that doesn't take money from you directly. It prevents money from ever reaching you. And because it is invisible, because it never appears on any statement, it is the tax most people paid their entire working lives without realizing it has a name. Economists call it opportunity cost. I call it the tax of standing still. Every dollar sitting in a zero-yield checking account instead of a high-yield savings account or an index fund is a dollar being taxed by inaction, not by anyone doing anything to you, by the mathematical reality that money not growing is losing ground every single day. Marcus is 30 years old. He has $5,000 in a checking account earning essentially nothing. He has been meaning to move it. Life is busy. The account feels safe. Over the next 25 years, at a 7% average market return, that $5,000 left sitting there instead of a basic index fund represents a lost opportunity of approximately $27,000. He did not spend it. He did not lose it. He just left it exactly where it was. And every financial institution in his life built their margins on the statistical certainty that most people would do exactly what Marcus did. His inertia is their profit model. The opportunity cost of financial illiteracy compounds across an entire lifetime. The person who does not understand compound interest pays it to someone else for decades. The person who does not understand tax advantage accounts pays taxes they never had to pay. The person who cannot negotiate pays the listed price every time for everything. Every gap in financial knowledge carries a price tag. And that price tag compounds just like interest does. The system has no incentive to close those gaps. because open gaps are where the profit lives. The most powerful financial tool at any income level is time. And time, unlike money, cannot be recovered once it passes. Opening an investment account today, even with $50, starts the clock on compound growth, not next month. Today. Every month you wait is a month of compounding permanently gone. The tax of standing still is being collected from you right now. The only question is how long you let it run. We have covered 4 hidden taxes: inflation, interest, fees, opportunity cost. But there is a 5th, and it is the one that makes all 4 others not just possible, but inevitable for most people. The financial literacy gap, the deliberate structural gap between what you need to know about money and what you were ever actually taught. The United States, one of the wealthiest nations in recorded history, does not require personal finance education in most of its public schools. Not budgeting, not compound interest, not how credit works, not retirement accounts, not taxes. A young person can complete 12 years of public education and walk directly into the adult financial system with zero formal instruction on how it operates. And then that same person walks into their first apartment lease, first credit card offer, first car dealership, first mortgage, completely unprepared. On the other side of every one of those transactions sits a professional trained specifically to maximize what they extract from someone who doesn't know what they don't know. That is not a fair fight. That is a structure. The literacy gap is not an oversight. Financially literate consumers negotiate. They read the fine print. They ask questions that cost institutions money to answer honestly. Financially illiterate consumers sign where they are told, pay the listed rate, carry the balance. They are infinitely more profitable, and the gap is worth billions annually to institutions depending on it staying exactly where it is. This is not conspiracy. This is documented, legal, profitable business practice. Financial methods exist because that gap deserves to be challenged every week, without apology. The highest return investment you will ever make is in your own financial education. Not a paid course, not a guru. Free resources, libraries, reputable websites, channels built for people, not profit, contain everything you need. 30 minutes a week of intentional financial learning, sustained over 1 year, gives most people more practical knowledge than a lifetime of schooling provided. Every gap you close saves you real money for the rest of your life. Here is what I need you to carry out of this conversation today. You are not broke because you do not work hard enough. You are not struggling because you lack discipline. You are not behind because of too many mistakes. You are navigating a system with 5 separate, legal, deliberately designed mechanisms extracting your wealth, built to do it without your full awareness. The woman paying more for orange juice, inflation at work. Jerome making his minimum payment faithfully, taxed $17,000 for the privilege. The $30 overdraft fee multiplied into billions across millions of accounts. Marcus's $5,000 losing ground every year it sits still. All of them navigating a financial system they were never taught to understand. That is not personal failure. That is structural design. And now you know how the structure works. Knowing is not the finish line, but knowing is where every real act of financial change begins. At Financial Methods, we show up every week to hand you the information the system was counting on you never having. We are in your corner. We are fighting for your financial future. If this video gave you clarity, if it named something you have been feeling for years but could not explain, hit that like button right now. Share this with someone working hard and still coming up short. Someone making minimum payments wondering why it never moves. Someone saving carefully and watching it quietly shrink. Sharing this is an act of financial solidarity. Do not keep it to yourself. Subscribe to Financial Methods, real conversation every week. No programs to sell, no agenda except yours. Your seat is right here. Next week on Financial Methods, we are going somewhere that is going to surprise you. A topic so embedded in everyday life, so normalized, that most people never consider it might be one of the most powerful financial forces shaping their future. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it, and you will understand immediately why no one with a financial interest in keeping you confused was ever going to bring it up first. Be here for it. Until then, I'm Sage, holding it down at Financial Methods. Stay focused. Stay intentional. They were counting on you not knowing this. Now you do.